Ragna is probably one of the weirdest and interesting characters of the newer animes I've seen. A little bit generic too, but that isn't too much of a problem. Now, if you couldn't read the title for some reason, I'm talking about Ragna from Ragna Crimson. Now, to be perfectly honest, I wanted to make a video about Gazelle, but since you've only been shown a limited number of times, I decided to do one on the main character Ragna. Since he's the main character, he's been shown throughout multiple times throughout the story. Now, this will contain not only anime spoilers, but manga spoilers as well. But if you don't care about that, let's just get on with the video. And what's better to start in the beginning? Now, in the beginning, Ragnar was the weakest out of all the hunters. And since they're in a world filled with dragons that try their best to kill human beings, this was actually kind of a problem. Now, if you're wondering why is Ragnar a hunter in the first place if he's so weak, he actually wants to protect a little girl that he met when he was a little bit while ago, named Leo, a little kid that he treats as basically his little sister. But what's interesting enough is, Leo is actually stronger than Ragnar, and actually she's the strongest in the whole town. But Ragnar still feels like he wants to protect her, even though in most cases it's her protecting him. Well, until the fair day happens, and that day is when a superior dragon attacks their city. Also, up to this point, Ragnar has been having nightmares of a distant future, where most humans end up going extinct with only him left. So when he sees the superior dragon has shown up, he starts to think that this may be the end. But luckily though, the dragons have different factions, or teams you can say. And this dragon that's shown up at their town was the weakest of the bunch, the 10th seat from the blood of the wing. Knowing that, Ragnar attempts to beat it by himself, and handily gets fleshed on and thrown into a lake. After throwing Ragnar into a lake, the dragon then engaged combat with Leo. During this though is the turning point. Because remember when I said Ragnar was having nightmares of a distant future? Turns out it was the actual future. And after a talk Ragnar had with his future self, he fused with him, gaining all the skills, strength, and all the knowledge from his future self that he has earned. Now, if you're wondering how his future self became so powerful, it's because he survived for many decades. He even got someone to teach him the battle arts, or silvering battle arts to be more specific. He pushed himself so hard that his body even fused with his sword, making his body become a weapon itself. He even goes so far to say that he can hold his own against a monarch. By the way, dragon monarchs are the leaders of their faction. All this power belongs to Ragnar, or the current Ragnar that is. And he quickly shows that the future Ragnar wasn't lying, because Ragnar quickly makes light work of the 10th seat. Now, not too long after this, he does eventually leave Leo in the town by herself, so he can go on a journey by himself to exterminate all the dragons. And if you're wondering the reason why he didn't take Leo with him, it's because he didn't want to risk her safety by being around him. But he does eventually take on one partner or multiple, depending on how you determine it. The main partner he takes on or to bring with him is Crimson, a former dragon monarch. And yes, it is weird since she's a former dragon monarch and his goal is to exterminate the dragons, but stay with me. Because Crimson has the same goal as him too. She wants the extermination of all dragons. By the way, the future Ragnar met Crimson too. He met her by accidentally killing her, well, killing her on purpose, but seeing that she couldn't be killed because she was mortal, or more like kinda immortal. Okay, now that you know how Ragnar started his journey, let's talk about some of the things he done did while on his journey. Like his fight against Ultimatia, a person that his future self met that traumatized him so bad that the mere sight of her face makes him throw up. Ultimatia also happens to be a dragon monarch, so she's the leader of her group too. But the thing that makes this fight so interesting is how Ragnar kept speed blitzing her over and over again before she got a chance to use any of her time magic. Or to be more accurate, he made her go on permanent defensive. Because the thing about Ultimatia is, the way she can control time is a little bit different. Ultimatia can rewind time and pause time, but she can't do both at the same time. And when she rewinds time, she can prevent herself from dying, showing that since Ragnar kept speed blitzing her, she wasn't able to pause time and able to go on the offensive. And because of this, Ragnar resulted in almost killing her. Well, before he passed out, that is. Plus, in this fight, it's shown that Ragnar, after a flashback, that is, that Ragnar has dragon blood in him too, because Ultimatia, during the future, tried to get him to join her family. And because of that too, He can't stay in suspended time for too long, so this was probably just the worst matchup for Ultimatia. Now let's move on to the next thing, and that'll be Ragna versus Kamui. Now, Kamui is the lightning dragon and the right-hand man of Ultimatia. And if you're wondering what lightning dragon means, it's what you think. He's the embodiment of lightning. He is lightning. And he uses this to overwhelm his opponents with speed, because most of his opponents are not faster than lightning. Now, that was just a basic Kamui. When he becomes a evolved Kamui, he basically moves massively faster than lightning. Now, if you're wondering how Ragna killed his opponent who moves so fast, well, he pushed himself to the very limit. And how did he do that? He pushed himself so hard that he released a two-part attack that moved at the speed of light. Or in some cases, depending on what source material you read, it's faster than the speed of light, and resulting in him killing Kamui. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is when Ragna raided one of the Bloodline's demons. He ended up running into the Gravity Dragon. And during this encounter, he actually almost ends up killing her while being under 3,000 times gravity. The only reason the Gravity Dragon ends up getting away, because the Gravity Dragon boss ends up coming to save her. Now, since the story is still going, there most likely going to be more impressive feats later on down the line. But these are just ones I just want to highlight. And since none of them basically covered the show for you, or more random for you, give the show a try. Or the manga, because I honestly rate them both 8.5 out of 10.